What is going on? Happy Tuesday, 2 hours non-stop NBA DFS conversation. When does it start? It starts right now. Myself, Chop, returning champion. You got us for the first hour and change. We yield the crunch time coming in around 6:15 or so on the East Coast. It's Will, the Chief, TastefulTides, Tim Buell. Chop, busy day in the sports. Kind of, sort of, somewhat. We have WBC, the finals tonight. Venezuela taking on the United States. We got Jalen Waddle sent to Denver. Great job, Miami. Shout out to the Dolphins. Good job. I think it was a spectacular move for them, to be honest. And we have 6 games. 6 games in the association. There's more than 6, but we're going to focus on 6. We don't care about the ones afterwards. The slates, we have an agreement amongst FanDuel and DraftKings. Tonight they said, you know what? We don't want to talk about the Kings or the Spurs, Denver or Philadelphia. There's 2 blowouts scheduled later on tonight. I think it's San Antonio, which is the Philadelphia-Denver is actually the back half of the Peacock doubleheader. But yeah, they didn't want any part of it. And we're probably better off for it, to be honest. Chop, happy Tuesday. Happy Television Tuesday. Get excited. It's Television Tuesday.
Right. TV Tuesday, better than some of these other made-up things you've been coming up with lately.
You got to keep you on your toes.
Whew. Ready for us. It's Tuesday. Yeah, got today. Then we'll lounge around tomorrow, get the brackets sorted away, and then Thursday we tip it off. Tip off the big boy at early, man. Right after breakfast, we're tipping off for a full day of action. So I'm looking forward to it.
What time is? Well, you're in a different time zone, right? Central, I think. Central time zone.
I'm in Central.
Yeah. Is it noon East Coast time? Is that when they
usually
start?
Starts around 11:15?
Oh wow.
Time.
You're not kidding. Okay, yeah. So noon for me and for the East Coast, which if it's not specified, maybe I'm a snob here, Chop. If it's not specified, we just assume East, right? Is that not the case?
Nah. I just assume whatever I live in, you should probably call it by that. You should probably use that time.
If you're talking to your wife or a friend and you're in the same building, then yes, you're talking about the actual, Central time zone. But if you're talking to somebody else in another time zone, I think unless you say otherwise, I feel like East Coast bias, whatever you want to say. Unless you say otherwise, I think East Coast rules. No. Maybe this is a question for the chat. I'm not really sure, but
everybody does their own thing.
Well,
I'd like to know the population breakdown on those time zones. I think that's where we should go by, and I don't know the answer to that, so maybe I'm wrong. But
the mountain is probably worthless then. I'm guessing mountain zone's probably
that's why nobody ever refers to Mountain Time Zone as the first one. So,
if you live in Denver, you do. You talk.
I would say let's go back and do some population studies. Who's got the most? What's the most population in those time zones? And that should be the default.
It's got to be
until the next sentence.
Derek in chat is saying it's East Coast is the default. It's the most populated. I didn't give it a Google, but that's in my head. That's what makes sense to me. Yeah.
I mean, because the East Coast thing is there's a certain bit of stuff that used to happen, in all aspects of life, and we're kind of in 2026, and you look back and go, wow, we did that back then. Times have changed, and so I think the whole East Coast thing was because at one point in time, New York was a great state. I don't think that's the case anymore. So they've fallen off so big that what are we deferring to?
There's a lot of people in New York. I thought that's your rules.
Yeah, but they used to be a destination state, a big city, the Big Apple. Not like that anymore. But most people would call it a trash heap these days. With the way it's being run down. So I say, let's forget about the nostalgia and let's get to the real, nuts and bolts here, man. I think Central is where it's at. Central has all of Texas, Chicago. Chicago might be the up and coming now.
Up and coming. It's been huge for years.
Granted, there's a lot of felonies taking place in Chicago that are.
There's a lot of people in Chicago.
A lot of bad. Well, per capita, it's pretty bad murder rate, but Chicago's there in Central Time Zone. Texas is there. I think that's where it's at right now, guys. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, there you go. The question for the chat. The chat's chimed in as far as best time zones, and everybody probably has their own personal bias in that, I suppose. But I've actually lived in 3 of them, I want to say. I think I've lived in 3 of the 4. Yeah. So, yeah, I lived in Vegas. I lived in Charleston. Well, no, that was East Coast. What was it? Oh, Nashville. Yeah, I lived in Nashville. So I think I lived in 3 of the 4. It is really weird. 9 o'clock in the morning, college football's on, and when you live in Vegas, just how that goes. But,
that's awful, man.
It's strange. Well, there's good and bad, I suppose. But like, yeah, your night's not over when Sunday football's over. That kind of thing. It's different. It's definitely an adjustment. And sometimes you'll make bets in the middle of the night, and you wake up and you're already dead. It's like, oh man, I got nothing out of that one. It's my over. I have an under, and it's over. It's the 3rd inning. It's like, what are you gonna do? Well, you got to chase it with something else, I suppose. Hit that like button. Do subscribe. Turn on those notifications. Do all those things. Hit all the buttons. Do all the things because we got to get some clues to the people for Television Tuesday. Tell me what TV show I'm talking about. Only in the Discord channel. You can tell me. YouTube doesn't count. Not an official guess. Official guesses are only in the YouTube. No, I said the wrong thing. Only in the Discord channel. That's RotoGrinders.com/Discord. The live stream chat channel. That's where officials get guesses coming on through. I think we got to get to 20 or 25 likes. I'm not sure the official threshold is to drop the first clue for today's television show. All right, 6 gamer tonight. Who's playing the back half of a back-to-back? Orlando. Tough back half of a back-to-back. They have OKC. We'll talk about them in a second. Washington plays Detroit. They are massive dogs. They're down to 10. I think we're expecting 10 bodies tonight for Washington. Phoenix back half of a back-to-back. They're taking on Minnesota. No Ant. We saw this news yesterday, and that's going to be a big part of tonight's slate. Anthony Edwards is out, they're saying, for at least a week or so. Minnesota and Phoenix, by the way, on the cusp. Like they're the 6-7 cusp there in the West, so a very important for both important game. Phoenix wants to jump into the, out of the Miami Heat Invitational. I guess it's not the Miami Heat Invitational in the West. Who always is in the 7 through 10 in the West, Chop? Trying to think. Who's the team that's been?
Well, it's been a lot of Minnesota in the past.
Yeah, maybe it's the Minnesota Invitational in the West. I feel like they're one of those teams in the 7 through 10. We got a gong now, just a full-on gong.
That was fast. I like that. See, this is the way to go, Dean. We do, get the likes and you get the clues. This is the way to go.
The first clue is scrolling at the bottom of the screen there. Producer Steve's all over it. First clue is fix. Fix is the first clue. Again, get in that Discord. Tell me what TV show we're talking about. That Minnesota Phoenix game is very important for jockeying for a position in the standings. First half of I mentioned the back half of the Peacock doubleheader. First half is Cleveland-Milwaukee. Cleveland is a 12-point favorite at Milwaukee. Giannis officially questionable. I don't think he plays. I don't know if you saw his fall last game. They're out of the playoffs. I guess math can say if they run off 15 straight wins or whatever it is. Actually, they can't because they only have – wait, how's my math? Yeah, there's 15 games left. They have 50. They're 28 and 39. They're 6 games behind Charlotte. Charlotte in the 10 spot. So, again, we know who the 10 teams are in the East. We know who the 10 teams are in the West. It's just a matter of how they get shuffled up. Waiting for Giannis news. I don't know why they would push him. That a disastrous season could get worse if anything happens to him, but he is officially – I do have the 5 o'clock injury report. I don't think anything changed. I imagine he is still questionable. Bam for Miami is officially doubtful, so we already ruled him out of projections. The Pacers are out of their minds. They have 11 players, 10 players, 9 players. I was trying to count them up before that are questionable. Just an unserious organization. Like, for real, they're all questionable. It's insane. And they play tomorrow, and I assume that kind of ties in. They're going to play today, then they don't play tomorrow, and vice versa. New York is given a blow, I imagine, to Brunson because they're facing the Pacers, and they're 16-point favorites because the Pacers are terrible. Officially doubtful, Brunson, but we're assuming he is out. We also got a midday downgrade for Mitchell Robinson, also questionable. What else are we monitoring? I mentioned the Giannis thing, even more so Ryan Rollins. He had the fish. He's ill. So he had the cheese, I guess, in Milwaukee. He is questionable. Miles Turner, also questionable with his calf. We got a downgrade for Grayson Allen. He's officially doubtful. We're assuming he's not playing tonight. They said Naz Reid is available with his shoulder, but also it didn't sound like he's He's great. Didn't sound like he's 100%. But as they say, this is a super important game, so it seems like he's going to give it a go. Chop, that is a good guess. It is not Ray Donovan, though. That is a very good guess. He's a fixer. But yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good guess there from you, Chop. I would wager to guess that somebody in the Discord channel also guessed. Yep. Ray Donovan was guessed. MacGyver was guessed. Shrinking. That's another good guess. A lot of good guesses. We have a sharp chat. I don't think anybody got the winner, though. But a lot of smart guesses. Not home improvement either, but yeah, that's I could see why your brain would go there. You have anything to say as far as the 6th gamer before we dive in? General thoughts? Anything on Chop's minds?
Well, going back to your earlier question, Dean, the Western Conference, I feel like the play-in, maybe New Orleans has been there. It feels like New Orleans is always there in the play-in. Now, not this year, but maybe it's the New Orleans Invitational. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. I feel like maybe New Orleans. I know I remember Patrick Beverley up on the table for Minnesota, pumping his fist like he just won the world championship. That's why Minnesota comes to mind. But maybe it's the New Orleans Invitational. I don't know.
I was thinking Golden State, maybe.
Possibly. Oh, come on. I don't want to be disrespectful to the dynasty they once had.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I feel like of late, hasn't Golden State been in there? I'm pulling it up. It's only been a thing for like 4 years, maybe. So it's only so many teams. The East, it's like always the same teams. It's like what has been Miami, Atlanta, and Chicago. Although not Chicago this year, right? I don't think so. Yeah, I think Chicago's on the outside looking in. No. Yeah, Chicago's on the outside looking in. But historically, it's been like Miami, Atlanta, Chicago. Okay. And now I'm derailing myself and giving it a Google. Yeah, it looks like the Golden State. Memphis. Memphis is another team I feel like it did the play-in stuff.
Okay, like they feel like they're a play-in thing, but I think they've actually been pretty good and gotten into the real playoffs.
What a plummet for them.
Yeah. You know what? I don't want to say. Well, no, I don't want to say that. I can't say that. I can't say that, Dean. Just move on.
It's so rare you edit yourself. And now you got me curious. But yes, probably for the best that we move on. Okay. Thunder, Magic, 2 teams in the NBA that two of the 4 teams in the NBA that have a nickname that does not end in S. Is that right? Jazz, Heat. Is that the 4? I think it is. 223.5 is that doesn't matter. It has no effect as far as who's winning the game tonight. But is that a fun fact? It's objective. It is fun. No, it's a fact. Fun, maybe not. Thunder are favorites. They're 10-point favorites here in Orlando. Again, Orlando's playing the back half of a back-to-back. Who's in and who's out for this one? Well, let's take a peek at the injury report. This is one of the, I think it's a 2 or 3 7 o'clock games. First one we're going to talk about. Nothing new with Orlando. Same old, same old. Franz Wagner's been out. He's still out. Anthony Black is out. He's been out. Still dealing with that strain. The Thunder. Jalen Williams. Nothing new there. He's still out. Otherwise, they're pretty clean. Topic is in the G League. They have too many healthy players, and Brandon Carlson is out with his back, but he doesn't matter when Hartenstein and Holmgren are both good to go. So we have basically a fully healthy OKC team with the exception of Jalen Williams. The really good Jalen Williams. They got the other one, but he doesn't matter because everybody else is around. And tough matchup here for Orlando. How do you feel about the Thunder and the Magic?
Well, I feel like there's Shea's going to get some ownership, and maybe. Well, our numbers say Tristan De Silva. I don't know. I don't like that. I'm not a De Silva guy. So there's a little bit of ownership in this game, but I do feel like this thing's going underappreciated here, right? Like, doesn't feel like an exciting game. Doesn't feel like there's much there, but it's at Orlando. And you just kind of look at OKC and you just want them to be pressed for 4 quarters. You want them to have to play SGA for 4 quarters, like, a normal, like a whatever. I don't want to say playoff game, but as if you were in the playoffs and he's gonna play 4 quarters. That's what you want out of them in the regular season. It's what you don't get a lot, and you should get that here. So I think there should be more respect on SGA. Like, I think a decent amount of ownership, but he could very well be the slate's leading scorer, all things considered. So I definitely have him highlighted as a guy, definitely GPP possibilities. Chet Holmgren gets a decent matchup here with the way Orlando's playing lately. So I don't hate Chet Holmgren at a mid price tag. 85 is just below that expensive tier. Orlando, I'm not really, even though it's a competitive game, it's still a tough defense. You're going to have to hit your three-pointers if you're given the opportunity. That's a Desmond Bane kind of thing. Not really anybody else that jumps out to me that I want to play on Orlando against OKC. So, but I do think in general terms, I'm not in love with this game. Probably not going to roster anybody on my one lineup on FanDuel. But if I was playing GPPs, I would make sure I'm at the field, if not above the field, on SGA. Just given the circumstances of this game, I think it's a pretty good spot for him.
Yeah, I like that call. You start with 20 points, right? Guaranteed 20 points. He puts 20 points up on the board. Not that you're happy with 20, but how many consecutive games now? He's got the record going. You mentioned a couple other players. De Silva, I don't like that as chalk either. It might change as things news kind of trickles on through, but we currently have him coming in at 20% or so. It's a little high for me. He's not a great fantasy point minute player, but he should play a ton. But now he's at 5.6 on DK. Like he's kind of crept up, and he's paid it off. But I don't know if he's paying it off versus the Thunder. It is the third game in 4 nights. It's a back half of a back-to-back. And our defense versus archetype matchup tool, I believe it had him as the worst possible matchup, right? Versatile forwards. No, who was I reading? That was there's somebody else that was 30th, and I lost that. Well, never mind. I don't know which game I was even looking at when it came up. I saw somebody was at 30th, and I'm meshing players for whatever reason. But long story short, I agree with you, Chop. Not a big fan of this game, and I do agree that SGA 25% on FanDuel. It's not like he's sneaky, but I think you're going to have the salary to play with, and you just whenever you can get SGA, above the field, and it's not really hurting the rest of your team. That's just something I want. I'm in on that for sure. But I got really nothing else as far as this game. This game is pretty uneventful for me. I think I'm going to scoot along unless you got anything else.
Well, we have 5 games left, Dean, and we have a lot of time.
Yeah, we do.
So I want to cut you off real quick. I want to get your prediction for the WBC final tonight.
I assume the United States is favored. Who's pitching for the USA?
The McLean, New York Mets, young guy.
Noel McLean. Okay.
Running out of arms, man. Kind of running out of arms now. Some of the guys are getting the clubs are saying no more for our relievers.
Yeah.
We could get kind of hairy here tonight. I don't know.
Well, I saw that. I don't know what the restrictions are for Venezuela, but I saw their bullpen worked really hard yesterday. They were awesome. But is everybody available? I'm not really sure. Like you said, as far as the restrictions for some of the players. But I'm taking a peek now. I want to see what the odds are. I assume the U.S. is.
They're pretty heavy favorites.
Yeah. Are you going run line? I know you've been chasing the run lines all tournament.
Well, luckily for me, I did the money line was close enough in the last game against the Dominican Republic, that I was able to take the money line. The run line would have got me again, but the money line got there. Tonight I had to go back to the run line because it's kind of I can't lay like that much on a baseball game. When you start to get the 3-1 or something, I don't want to lay that much on a baseball game. So I went back to the run line tonight.
I'm saying plus 210 Venezuela straight up. US is minus 225, minus 230, depending on where you're shopping. Is this a safe space, Chop? Would you say this is a safe space?
Oh man, what you got? Okay, what you got?
Can I confess something?
Oh, you're rooting for Venezuela.
I bet the Dominican Republic last game. I was very upset about that last pitch.
How could you turncoat us like that?
It's not a turn. I mean, look, I just thought it was a good bet. They were dogs, and that lineup is outrageous.
Yeah, I actually know some other people who did that too. I mean, yeah, the DR was good, man, and they're probably
the sharper bet is all, and then
probably easier to root for, if we're being honest. Some of those characters over there are a little bit better than the curmudgeons we got over here, but
they got a fun team.
And you know what? I'm impressed by Albert Pujols' managerial skills. Let's get him in the minor leagues. Let's work him up. Maybe he could be the Cards manager one day.
Well, he could have pinch ran for the catcher that was on third, 1 out, whatever. That was something he could have done in the 6th inning or so. He didn't do that. There's something else I think he did that he kind of goofed. But
we're
gonna nitpick.
Let's nitpick and say our manager didn't even know. Our manager didn't even know the rules. And I like DeRosa. I love him on the Baseball Today on the MLB Network every morning, man, during the baseball season. Phenomenal with Roflo and those guys. But man,
I don't watch that very often, but I'm sure
that's so good. Oh, that's so entertaining. But you don't get up early enough for that. You're like
I tend to listen to baseball podcasts, but I don't really watch like MLB coverage per se.
He's really good, man. He's really good at breaking down things, but managerial, he might want to hit the rule books, but
the other part is that they tried to like pretend that he didn't say what he said, and they tried to erase it, and that's the part, like the cover up. Just admit it, you goofed. All right, we'll get over it.
Did he goof, or somebody had to be giving him some bad info though? Maybe he's not throwing. Like I gotta imagine there's somebody there running these rules by him and like telling him these things, and maybe he just didn't want to throw him under the bus.
Yeah, and like the context he said, he's like, we got to get our guys off their feet. Like you say that when there's nothing to play for. Get some guys off their feet. Like it was very clear he was under the impression that game meant nothing, and then to pretend like that wasn't the case. Or I don't know if you saw, but like MLB, and they took the quote down, like they're trying to hide it. It's like it's out there, man. People know what was said. Do you have a BVP suggestion tonight? The chat is asking. Any BVP plays tonight?
No, because I'm having a hard time finding out what the plan is at pitching, to be honest with you. So it's hard to nail down a BVP when you really don't know what the other squad's going to do with their entire pitching staff. I know McLean, and he's young, so you're not going to get any BVP off of him. I don't know. Mason Miller may not be available. A couple guys may or may not be available.
He's available.
I heard he was like, I want to be available. I think it's kind of up to San Diego.
Jeff Passan said he's available in a safe situation.
Passan's a loser, though. I mean,
why is Passan a loser?
He just came out with another bad article the other day.
Oh, I don't know what his most recent article is, but he's a generally reliable source.
Yeah, he's a loser, though.
Okay,
Respectfully, I don't want to get a lawsuit put on me.
Well,
loser.
He's a loser, and then tag respectfully at the end.
Loser, as in he's whatever. Yeah, respectfully a loser.
Okay.
Like, he didn't win everything his whole life. Let's put it like that. So I don't want to get the lawsuit put on me.
Well, there you go.
Lawsuits going around. I don't know if you heard about the Afro Man lawsuit. He's in court right now fighting.
The guy who got high?
Yes, fighting a defamation lawsuit. So I don't know
anything about it, but I'm curious. But I don't know.
Oh God, I've seen that some of the transcripts from today are awesome. You gotta. We got time. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes of Afro Man. The police did something. They raided his house on some bad information.
Oh, I did see this clip. This is from a year or two.
Tore it up. Right? It was terrible, and they were really terrible about it. And just awful. So he started to come up with these songs, and he was like, you know how he goes, like, because
I know one song.
You know how he, but his mind, like the way he raps,
Yeah. I know his one song. I don't know.
He's coming up with these songs. I slept with your wife. I slept with your. These weird things he's talking about, and he's just burying them all, man. And so they hit him with a defamation lawsuit, and that's what they're going through today. And you got to see the transcripts. They're awesome. He's a character, man. That's for sure.
I can't think of the term, but it's like, yeah, people they'll get online people their the addresses of people, and and they'll tell the authorities that something's going on there that you have. Yeah, it's just terrible stuff. There's a term for it. I don't want to encourage it. So I want to know, but I think that's what happened to him, and that seems. I don't know what he did to deserve that, but allegedly, yeah. There you go. Producer Steve is throwing it in the chat. Okay. So there you go. I was not aware we're going to be talking about Afro Man today. My Miami Heat are taking on the Charlotte Hornets. 234.5 is the total. The Heat are 6-point dogs here. One of the most popular plays on the slate. You got Superman Khalil Ware. The runway is clear. It's not official. Bam Adebayo is officially doubtful, but we're assuming he's not playing basketball tonight. And with that said, you got to assume Khalil Ware is going to step up and play a good bit. They are getting Jovic back. We haven't seen Jovic in a while. Tyler Hero also available with the squad. Miami does this thing where they say everybody's available. The ones that matter, Wiggins is still out. Khalil Ware officially available again with his shoulder. Jovic is back, so they got a little bit healthier, but they did lose Bam. So Bam and Wiggins are out. We're expecting Mitchell, Hero, Larson. We do have Jaime Jaquez starting. I think Powell came off the bench last game, if I'm not mistaken. He still played 30-plus minutes. As far as Charlotte is as healthy as you are going to see them. Saloon is out, but he doesn't really matter. And nobody else of note. So Charlotte is fully healthy. We saw this game maybe 10 days ago or so, give or take. Rematch of that one. And with Charlotte is in the 10 spot. This is a potential play-in Miami Heat Invitational play-in preview because the Heat are in the 7 spot right behind Toronto, and they probably don't make it out. I guess they can. I guess they can jump in the 6, but their schedule is a little dicey going forward. So yeah, potential preview of a future play-in game. How you seeing the Hornets and the Heat? And Khalil Ware, you just playing them, and that's that. You just play them, right? I think you just play them.
I don't know. So I want to say yes. I want to say just play him, and he was definitely a finalist for the Plums play today. But spoiler alert, he's not the Plums play of the day because I do have one minor reservation here about Khalil Ware, Dean.
Foul trouble?
No, and foul trouble is always a thing. This matchup, is the worst matchup for any of the 5 positions that are going to be on the court for Miami. If we go 1 through 5, this is the worst matchup, and it is a tough match. Not just the worst for Miami, but this has legitimately been a very tough matchup for opposing bigs since we're getting more minutes out of Diabate. He's a good defender, and he's controlling things. He's controlling the opposition. So I'm a little hesitant that side. Typically, you get Bam out, and I would just Ware would be a lock. I'll probably play him just because it's so tempting anyway, because his upside is so great. But just let it be known, he is not the Plums play today because Diabate can defend. This is a tough matchup for him. So we'll see how that plays out. Then again, Diabate could get in foul trouble, and then you don't even have to worry about it.
Also, you never pick a Plum that's 40% roster. That's not something you drop your Plum on, right?
True too. When I say finalist for the Plum, that all comes into it, but the initial look, you go, Khalil Ware without Bam. Oh, that's a finalist, and then you start digging into all the other stuff.
It better not be Jose Alvarado. That's not going to be the Plum. Right? That's just
I'm still upset after watching the Rockets last night. Why could you just go get Alvarado, man, for a second round pick? We're sitting there and Durant's got to bring the ball up. He's getting trapped every time. Get a freaking point guard, man. So I'm a little bit bitter about the Alvarado trade, but we'll get to that later.
Our guy Butto in chat is telling us it is the Terry Rozier revenge game. Miami's very angry with Terry Rozier.
Oh, man.
Charlotte almost definitely knew. They almost definitely knew there were shenanigans abound. And you can take him. Yeah, sure. I guess you can have him. It's his birthday, too. He ain't playing. But happy birthday, Terry Rozier. So that's important. I just felt we had to acknowledge that for no particular reason. Continue.
Well, Rozier might be playing pretty soon.
Where?
With Denzel in the Jesus Shuttlesworth father in the pen. They'll be playing pretty soon. But this game is it's a phenomenal game for fantasy. This is probably the best game on the board. Miami, the Khalil Ware we talked about. Powell's going to get a nice bump with the guys out. Tyler Hero should get always pretty good, a nice bump. Jaquez may get a little bump. I like all those guys from Miami. They're all it should be a super competitive game. Spreads tight. Should be I don't think either team blows either one out. So I like all those guys from Miami. On Charlotte, surprisingly, like a lot of these guys, they're playing good ball. The thing about Miami we've talked about all year, big pace. You get a big pace up spot for just about anybody who's going to play them. So you got the pace working for you. But we've also said, watch out, though. They are a good defensive team. They big pace, but
no Bam.
No Bam and no Wiggins. Wiggins is a defender, a very good defender. That's kind of what how he got his act together with Golden State. He's just a very good defender, and Bam is officially out, so we ain't got to worry about that. So, the pace is there, and now the defense isn't as good. So yes, give me LaMelo Ball, give me Con Knipple, Miles Bridges, and give me Brandon Miller too. Like all of it. I want it all. I think this is a really good game stack if you're into that kind of stuff. If you're multi-entering one lineup, I don't know if I'm gonna go game stack, but I'll have a couple of pieces from this game in it. It's a good game for all those big pieces I do like.
Can you rank the Hornets as far as like Ball versus Knipple versus Miller versus Bridges versus Diabate, or just sort of like lineup construction, whichever one fits?
It's going to be construction, but I can rank them just based on the price tag, the ownership, all that stuff. Brandon Miller 1, Ball 2, Knipple, and Miles Bridges. And I'm not. I respect Diabate as a defensive force, but I'm not playing him. I'm not playing Kobe White, so nobody else after those 4. But 4 is a pretty good number.
Just trying to think, like without Bam, how Ware gets screwed out of minutes, and I guess Jovic can play some 5. I'm just trying to figure out, Diabate is a tough defender, but I gotta figure he plays like at least 27 minutes. We're giving 30. I cut off a few just to be conservative. And even at like 27 minutes, he's not cheap, but he's 5'9" on DK. Pretty sure I'm playing them. Pretty sure I'm just taking that chalk. We did not. There it is. Oh. That is our second clue for television.
Before we get to clue 2 real quick to wrap up the clear where he's played this team 3 times this year, and he's gotten 30-plus minutes in 2 of those games. He hasn't cracked like 26, 27 fantasy points. I'm not saying it's be all end all, but he's gotten minutes against him, and he hasn't done great. So he's not like 30 minutes is the magic number in this matchup for him. He needs to get there with some blocks somehow.
Man, he definitely has that upside. You see why the Heat could be so excited for him. Depending on the game, he definitely flashes that potential. Future Milwaukee Buck potentially. Khalil Ware. Your guess was Breaking Bad. It is not Breaking Bad. Chop. The second clue is Blinker, Fix, and Blinker. We'll jump back to the Discord channel. We'll see if anybody answers today's Television Tuesday correctly. If they do, they get a week free of RG Premium. That's all the sports: football, baseball, basketball, hockey, MMA, WNBA. What's not NFL season, but in theory, we get NFL as well. NASCAR's a la carte. You got to hit up the Stevie for that. Anything else as far as Miami, Charlotte, or are you moving along?
Scooted along.
Another blowout on layaway here. Detroit taking on Washington. Washington, are they a 19-point home dog here? That is a massive number for a home dog, but it looks like they're down to 10 tonight. They're playing the back half of a back-to-back against the Pistons. 233.5 is the total. Pistons, I think they have the highest team total on the board, 126. That's got to be the highest, right? Yeah, by a good margin. The Pistons certainly are popping here against Washington. It's just a fantasy carnival there when you take on the Wizards. I did hear somebody call them the Lizards because you got to replace all the W's with L's. So I stole that one there. Koulibaly's out. He's got bursitis, they're claiming, allegedly. They're saying Alex Sarr's got a big toe. I don't doubt that, but does it hurt? And Trae Young, of course, he's got a contusion, so he cannot play. He can't play 2 games in a row. He's out. George with his elbow is not playing. Again, down to 10 in Washington. Detroit beef stew. Isaiah Stewart is out with his calf. That is of note. Cade Cunningham, you were talking about SGA being possibly the player that scores the most fantasy points in the slate. If it's not SGA, it's probably Cade, possibly Cade. I think Raw Points will say that as well. Let's see what Raw Points confirms that. If we're just sorting by Raw Points, we don't care about salary ownership. Yeah, we got Cade on SGA by about a point and change. Then we have Giannis and Towns, and who even knows if Giannis plays? Probably shouldn't, but he's currently questionable in projections. How you feeling about Detroit? What about Cade versus SGA? Who's your preference amongst those two?
Oh, SGA, and that's strictly because of the blowout thing, which is definitely going to happen. We know that. It's just a matter of how many rotations do these guys miss because of blowout? They're going to miss that last one. Like this game is going to be history by the fourth quarter. Washington's bad and Detroit's not. So it's just a matter of how many. I'm not willing to risk that with Cade over SGA. SGA, I think, is going to be fully engaged for 4 quarters, so that's the one I want. So just on the Washington side, you can take some stabs here at Julian Reese, I think he started yesterday, didn't he? They
three quick ones.
Yeah. So, and if they're gonna start him again, 3,200, take some stabs at him. He's cheap. Champagne, credit to him and his brother. Brothers in the NBA is hard to do, Dean, and they're there and they shoot 3-pointers. You can get there. 4,400, Jameer Watkins. I mean, these are all just salary saver guys. Last position in. I need a little, I need one guy to save me some salary kind of stuff. That's all they are. The Detroit side, I'm really not interested in anybody except for Jalen Duren. And that's the only, man, I had the numbers earlier, but I'm going to pull them up for you, Dean. First of all, I have my own personal defensive matchup metric, Dean.
Oh, proprietary?
Proprietary. I'm not, I don't have a name for it yet. It's just something I've been.
You got a Patreon or something?
Tinkering with the last two months, just trying to, figure. It's so hard in the NBA though because of the like everything you did prior to the All-Star break almost is irrelevant right now with the way the rotations are and stuff. But some of it you can kind of narrow down to this team really started to tank starting after the All-Star break, and you can kind of get some of those things together like that. But anyways, here's the thing, Dean. So looking at Duren,
he should be awesome when he's out there.
His matchup metric, the gap between him, it's so good. Gap between him and the second guy is the same amount as the second guy and like the 20th guy on my board.
It's amazing.
And because we go back to the Bam Adebayo 100-point game, that was fine. And that's what everybody remembers. People kind of forget the very next game, Wendell Carter dropped 47 on 47. Wendell Carter. And then the next game after Wendell Carter was Kieta, who dropped 48 on you. Like
he had like 26 in the first half or something like that. Yeah, he was. Yeah,
like it's insane what they're giving up to guys on the inside. So Duren is the one guy that could get there with limited rotations. He's dominant anyway as a fantasy performer. He's going to dominate tonight. It's just a matter of, are we going to get a semi-motivated Duren, and are we going to get a semi-decent amount of run out of him and not get too much trimmed off the top? If that happens, Duren will crush 8,300. It's just a matter of how much.
Yeah, I like the idea of playing one at Cunningham or Duren, and I do think it's likely to blow out. I was looking at last 15 game stuff. The second worst team in basketball as far as rebounding percentage is Washington. If Memphis is going with the strategy of not playing tall guys while playing basketball, which is not working out for them, if not for Memphis, Washington would be the worst rebounding team, but it is Memphis because they don't play people that have height in the game of basketball. They think that, I guess, they're trying to lose in Memphis. Duren can put up 20 in 25 minutes, I think, in this game. I think that's something he can do. You just look at this front line for Washington. He's just going to abuse Reese. It's just, I'm not sure how much of him you've watched, but he's not an NBA player. He's just not. Maybe he will be one day. I don't know. I don't think he was very hyped. My understanding was,
he's just a body right now, just a warm body. It's fine. There's about 30 of them around the league right now. They get minutes. They're really just glorified G League guy, but it is what it is, man. Lippy wants to know about 12 rebounds for Duren. Man, that's just going to come down to, will he get that second to last rotation fully in there, man? And so they put a pretty strong number up there for you to think about.
I'll tell you, our median projection on him is about 11 for what it's worth, but that's 27 minutes. It's a median projection. I wouldn't bet the under, but it is a tough number for him to get over, I suppose. But in theory, like he really should just absolutely pummel this team, just abuse Washington here on the inside. They have 10. If we try to figure out like who plays for Washington, if it's a blowout, so it's Champagne's a no, Trey Johnson's a no, Carlton's a no. I don't think Vukcevic would play. I mean, I think he just kind of plays just 20 minutes and that's that. I don't know. Is it worth trying to figure out? Is this kind of my question? Because I was trying to figure it out, and I'm like, you know what? And hold that question, by the way, when we talk about the Pacers next. Is it worth trying to figure out? Spoiler alert, answer is no. We got to wait for the Pacers to give us their news, but they have like 15 guys potentially that may play, but also 7 of them might not play. Stay tuned on the Pacers as far as their injury report. And are they going to give us at 6 o'clock? Are the Pacers going to give us 10 guys game time decision? Are they really going to do that to us? They might, right? Rick Carlisle, I'll tell you. Because, New York is game planning. They're in the locker room right now. Well, if Ben Shepherd plays, this is what we got to do.
I don't know, Dean. I don't know about these guys, man. World doesn't revolve around your third stringers, Ricky. Come on, man. Just give us something, man. Like, it's over with. Yeah. It's over with for the year. We know what you're thinking. Maybe there's some wording in the rules that say if he does it like this, they don't get fined. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on there, but I don't want to go off on a rant, but but it's Bam Adebayo. It's bringing great shame. He's the one that he's bringing great shame to the league.
Okay. And you know what, Dean? I'd be remiss not to mention this guy. You're talking about like Washington and Indiana, who's going to get last rotation kind of stuff, Yeah. And I don't feel good about any of that. I don't want to chase any of that.
Yeah.
But one thing I would chase is a guy like Paul Reed last rotation kind of stuff, like 3,800 B-ball Paul against this front, for everything that applies to Duren, it applies to B-ball. It's a great matchup. If he gets a little uptick in minutes because of the blowout, he could certainly crush that $3,800 price tag.
We're giving him 14 minutes as like if the game plays out normal, I guess, however you want to phrase that. I think if this game goes completely haywire, he can get 20, 21, right? I guess you can tell yourself that story. Duren can get in foul trouble, and Duren can get the combination platter of foul trouble / blowout, which is the worst. Like when you're up 30, you're down 30, and your coach is still benching you, so you're just going to be done essentially. Just trying to think in ways that Reed gets there. But when he's out there, he should smash. He definitely should be good when he's out there. Just 14 minutes is pretty sketch. But, the projection is 19 points. He's a really good fantasy one-minute player. The matchup here versus Washington is about as strong as he gets. I don't think I make enough lineups for it, Chop. But, if I'm running 100, he's certainly in the pool. I wouldn't play him together. I would separate Duren and Reed, obviously. Maxim at 1. All right. Anything else here? Detroit, Washington?
Scooting on down the road.
I think Will Riley, I think he's my favorite player on Washington. If I had to pick one. We're giving Champagny 41%. Wow. Reese also could start and close when it's super ugly. So I wouldn't necessarily cross him out. I might end up playing one of these Washington guys begrudgingly. We saw Raleigh play, I think, 35, 40 minutes yesterday. He played a ton. And they are down to 10. And I think he's one of the starters that would come back and close. Okay. It's the Pacers. The Pacers in New York. 221.5 is the total. New York is a 15-point favorite. Mentioned earlier, top of the show, midday downgrades for New York, a couple big ones. Brunson, not officially out. He's doubtful with his ankle, but come on, he ain't playing. McBride's not playing, and Mitrov probably not playing. It is an island game, right, for New York. It's not like they're picking 1 or 2 games. So, yeah, they don't play tomorrow either. Didn't play yesterday. Mitchell, midday downgrade with his back. We are presuming that it's a GTA, your boy GTA, Grand Theft Alvarado, jumping in the starting lineup. Bridges, Hart, OG, Cat. I know Noto likes to talk about Cat splits with and without games that Mitch Rob plays. He's distinctly better when Mitch Rob doesn't play. No surprise there. Tougher matchup with the Pacers, depending on how long they let Zubac play. I'm trying to think it'd be easier. What do you want, Chop? You want players that are not questionable? They're players that are questionable for Indiana. What do you want?
I don't want anything.
I don't want it either. I hate the Pacers. They're so annoying. TJ McConnell, Quentin Jackson, Nemhard, Naismith, Peter. He may not play because of the G League stuff. As same deal with Slauson. Pascal's not going to play. He's doubtful. Shepard's questionable. Potter's questionable. Just full-on shenanigans, just like a spit in the face of the league here by the Pacers. Just begging to be fined. Obi Toppin's got a foot. He's questionable. Even Zubac is questionable. Why not? Legitimately, I think every player might be questionable with the exception of Jay Huff is not questionable. And that might be it. Oh, Walker. I don't think I see Walker. I think it's the only two guys that are not questionable. This is for real, I think, is Walker and Huff. Imagine. How many doctors do they have on this team, Chop? They must be running out of tape, and bandages. They're all fine. Most of them are fine. I'm sure there's some that, whatever. I'll get off my soapbox. But I don't like this team. How do you talk about this? You can't. What can you say about the Pacers right now, besides that they're annoying?
Well, you don't have to say much about them because you don't have to roster any of them if you don't want to. Even if they start singling guys out of the game, he's out. You still don't have to play these guys. You can if you want to, but you don't have to do anything. It's the Knicks side that you would be interested in anyway. I think it would be interesting. I think it's interesting to know that defensively, Indiana, with all that they've done here in the last couple of months, to just say, okay, we're done. We're going to tank, we're going to get our draft pick and all. During that time, they have been they are this close to catching up to Washington for like defensive insubordinates or whatever, however you want to refer. Like they're that, like Washington.
Mediocrity, incompetence.
Washington is like giving up the most fantasy points in general over the last 20 games. Like Indiana is the next one in line for them. They're like right there, just a little bit behind that. If we're talking about the efficiency of it and what somebody usually averages compared to what they got versus this team type of thing, Indiana's worse than Washington. Like Indiana's bad defensively. So you're going to name your whoever, So Brunson being out is actually such a huge thing because somebody's going to get some guys are going to have big games for the Knicks. Obviously, you look at Karl Anthony Towns right off the bat. This could certainly be him. One of those wings, Josh Hart, OG, or Mikal Bridges, one of those guys is going to have a big game. I can't tell you which one. I don't know. It's a toss-up, but one of them is going to have a big game. And then Alvarado's going to chug along. 32 is just way too cheap for DFS. I know he's chalky. I know he's not going to be a plums play or nothing like that. But at 32, no Brunson, getting the full ball handling run of this team, and they're still fighting for something. There's, in order to blow out Indiana, you're going to have to score a bunch of points in the first three quarters. So he's going to be part of that. He's a lock and load in DFS, even though he's chalky. That's fine. Sometimes in the NBA, you just can't fade the chalk. We've talked about that over the years. But yeah, I think Alvarado, Cat, and then one of those wings for New York. I think they're all in play here, man. I can't tell you which wing. It just depends on whose three-pointers falling tonight. But Indiana's bad on defense, really bad on defense right now. So let's take advantage of it.
Last 15 games, defensive rating, to your point, the worst team in basketball is Washington, 121.3, Indiana, 121.2. So it's going to be close. Probably shout out Memphis, 121.1. Those three are really jockeying for the podium. It's
okay, timeout. So first of all, Samari's giving me a hard time. I'm giving you my numbers, man. I'm giving you stats. I pull up stats, man. Weird stats here, efficiency stats I've been working on. And you see I'm offering nothing. What do you want me to spoon feed you a lineup tonight? Come on, Bubba. I can't do that. And then secondly, Steve, he says something derogatory. You don't have to repost it right here on the stream, man. Like that's not cool, man. But whatever. I don't. But what do you want from me, Samari? Come on, man. I'm not going to spoon feed you 8 guys to put in your lineup. Yeah. Come on, man.
You can't say one of Bridges, Hart, and OG is going to be a big game. You got to tell me which one of those three it's going to be. That's the point. You can't just say just one of those three.
I wish I knew that though. I wish I had that snake oil salesman blood in me where I could just give you all the lies in the world and let you eat it up. I don't do that, man. I don't have the answer to that. So
Magic 8 Ball, you got one of these, or
yeah.
Mr. Predicto, Mr. Predicto might know. Maybe we'll bust out
Crazy.
Mr. Predicto later on the show. I don't know if necessary or if prompted. But I actually agree with you. I think the best play as far as point per dollar is Alvarado. Cat is an awesome spend up for sure. One of Bridges, Hart, and OG, sure. I don't know about Bridges has been shaky these days. I guess the Pacers could be a slump buster, but it's not been great. And if you want to get a little bit off the reservation, I was thinking, again, this is like 150 or running 20. Tyler Kolek is a guy that can get hot.
I love that play. I tagged him in the lineup.
Did you really?
HQ. Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I know Alvarado's going to get all the juice here tonight with the ownership, but there's like Kolek's a better fantasy player, better fantasy performer, and you don't know, man. Like you don't know that he's not going to get a big piece of the pie, and Alvarado's not going to get as big. We don't know that for sure. I do like Kolek.
It was different circumstances as far as players being out, but we saw Kolek. He put up like a 50 burger earlier in the year or 40 burger. Am I crazy? Am I making that up? I feel like he had a couple of monster games earlier in the season.
He did.
When the path was clear. And I'm not saying it's going to happen. And he also can make 6 or 7 threes. He can get there that way as well. And if you're betting on the blowout, I think Kolek's a really good bet. And then I would put Clarkson in the conversation as well, too. I guess my question would be, would you play 2 of those guys together? Would you play 2 of Alvarado, Kolek, and Clarkson? Or are you just going to take a stand on one in every lineup?
Oh, no. I think you just play one. I think you just make a rule in your lineup HQ if you're multi-entering, just play one of them because there's, you still want to play Cat in there and you still want to play like an OG lineup or a Josh Hart lineup. So I don't think you want 4 Knicks in there and 2 of them being guys who might cannibalize each other. So no, I think you limit that to 1.
All right. Anything else, or shall we? I mean, Pacers, just right now I'm playing nobody in the Pacers. If 19 guys are ruled out, then maybe I'll start playing somebody, but I'm just assuming that they're all bad at this point, unless things change, and it's possible that like 6 of these dudes don't play. We'll see. Again, shenanigans are abound with Indiana. They're going to lose anyway. I guess, who do they play tomorrow? I wrote this down. Portland. They got Portland at home tomorrow, so that's a game where you might want to rest more players, right? Because this one, you're going to lose either way, almost definitely. Okay. Scooting along. Yep, we're done. I think so.
Moving on down the road.
Like button. Let's get some more clues for the people. Hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn on those notifications. Again, 60, 70. I'm not sure what we need as far as to get a next clue, but I know Chop is looking for a third clue to make things happen here on the television Tuesday. First half of the Peacock doubleheader is Cleveland and Milwaukee. Tough draw for Peacock. 226.5 is the total. Milwaukee's a 12-point dog. We don't know about Giannis. Giannis Antetokounmpo is currently questionable. I would say he's highly questionable. Would be surprised if he plays, to be honest. The fall he took last time, the fact they have nothing to play for. But yeah, as of right now, he is currently being projected in our projections. Usman is also questionable. He had the fish, the cheese. Rollins also sick. They ate together. And Miles Turner is questionable. So this could get ugly really, really fast with Milwaukee. All of a sudden it could be like a Bobby Portis game if everybody gets ruled out. KPJ, certainly if we lose Giannis. There's too many if-then combinations, but I'm not alert for the Bucks. But KPJ is 8-5. So, as of right now, bad play, but could turn into an interesting tournament play. Cleveland, Sam Merrill's got that hammy, so he's questionable. Jalen Tyson, ankle, he's good to go. Jared Allen is still out with his knee. We did see Max Strus. Max Strus was awesome. His first game back, good for him. He buried a bunch of threes. He was on a minutes limit. I think he played 22, if I'm not mistaken. So good for him. Nice to see him come back and, bolster this team. Former Heat player, one of the better products from the Heat organization that probably overachieved and then got paid. So happy for him. Can't imagine playing him in DFS, but just know that he's back for the Cavs. A lot of if-then stuff for the Bucks, but as of right now, what do you got as far as Cleveland and Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
What'd you say?
Mitch Rob is in, apparently, according to the chat.
Yeah, he was questionable.
Yeah, but I thought they didn't.
I don't think it really matters. I don't think it's going to hurt Cat or anything. So Let's see here. What do we got? Cleveland, Milwaukee. Milwaukee's road has obviously defensive numbers have plummeted. So they're a bad defensive team. Cleveland will name their score tonight, whatever they want to do with it. Mobley, Mitchell, Harden, the big three. You know, they may feed Mobley tonight. I don't think Mitchell and Harden care too much about putting up random stats right now. And then you got your role players, and I kind of think Sam Merrill might be. Let me see here. No,
it's questionable right now.
No, not Sam Merrill. Who did that? Oh, Dean Wade is a guy I thought earlier. I thought earlier Dean Wade, but I mean it's a minor thing. I don't want to play Dean Wade, but he's the role player I thought would exceed the other role players tonight. That's just something there. But I don't know. Cleveland, Milwaukee, I don't know. It's just Cleveland, one of those guys. What do you want me to like? I'm not playing any of them. If you ask me who I think the best one tonight is, it's probably Mobley because he's slightly cheaper than the other guys. I don't think any of them are particularly motivated to go out here against Milwaukee and a tanking team. And so I don't know how that plays out. In Milwaukee, I have no desire to roster a Milwaukee player tonight. Like we just talked about the New York team. You can get plenty of run from the New York team. The Miami-Charlotte game in general, all those players in that game are great. Like there's a lot of spots to go to. I don't need to go to a big blowout spot where both of the teams are not motivated at all here. So I'm not really liking it too much.
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, as things stand, I'm not really into anything in Milwaukee. But again, if we happen to get, Turner and Giannis and Rollins all rolled out, then I'll circle back. But as of right now, I agree. I'm not into it. I think Usman is also questionable too, right? Porter would be pricey, but he would be asked to do a ton of stuff. I think Portis would be the guy that would project pretty strongly. I don't know if we can't possibly have an if then. I don't think. We have an if then if all those guys are out, and all those guys, I don't know if they're going to be out or not, but that's Giannis, Turner, Usman, and Rollins. And KPJ will project for about 43 median, which is a really solid projection, and Portis even better, 37-36 when you're considering his salary. I got the line on for Portis if news goes a certain way. And I don't have a good read on, the illness guys. You never really know. But I feel like Giannis is not playing. I don't know that, obviously. Anything else we got to say here as far as Cleveland? I do agree with you. It's just tough because they're all kind of priced where they should be priced. Harden, Mitchell, Mobley, they're all kind of eating at each other. Another shooter and Stru's coming back. It's just tougher, to get maximum game out of Harden, Mitchell, or Mobley. And it's also a potential blowout too. There's no core play for me on the Cleveland side.
No, that's why my hot take was Dean Wade gets his season high in points tonight, Dean.
What is it? Can I let's see. He can get hot from three every once in a while. I would say his season high in points. He's probably put up 15 points this year. I'll say 15.
14.
Ah!
A little blowout run, the way Milwaukee defends, maybe he could go for 15 or more.
Third clue for Television Tuesday is horse chop. Horse. Fix, blinker, and horse. That is our third clue. And I didn't want to be the bearer of bad news, Chopper, but I do have some bad news. Oh, Giannis is ruled out, as expected.
Oh, no, yeah. This game is going to be ugly.
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute. I don't know.
We already have a winner, just so you know. We already have a winner.
Okay. I'm going to take one guess here, Dean. This will be my last guess. And
you are a winner. Yes,
dang, I would have been a winner.
Yep.
It stinks.
Did I make it too easy? I might have made it too easy.
The horse really gave it away.
I haven't seen this show, but it's on the list. I think it's got to be the next show I watch, actually.
Can I say something and we're in a safe space?
Please. Yeah. Just don't spoil the show for me.
I tried to watch it. I could not make it through the first season. So but doesn't mean it's not a good show. But you know what else I tried to watch that everybody seems to love, and I could not make it through the entire first season?
Pluribus.
Mad Men. couldn't do it. I don't know why. I just it didn't click for me, man. Just happened.
I haven't watched. One of these days, Mad Men's on the list. I haven't seen it before, but I know people love it. But I'm with you. I haven't had a chance to watch Mad Men either. But Peaky Blinders is that's the answer, by the way. The answer is Peaky Blinders. It's also St. Patty's Day. Shout out to St. Patty's Day. I wanted to pick something as an homage for Cillian Murphy. I was thinking of an Irish actor, right? So that's where I went. It takes place in England, I believe. Awesome.
Former Oscar winner, former Academy Award winner.
Cillian Murphy, he was a supporting actor, Interstellar. No, not Interstellar.
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer, yeah. I knew I had the right director, but yeah. He's got the GIF. He was not supporting actor. He was lead actor.
Yeah, he was lead actor. Mardon he says, have you started watching Neighbors? I have. I watched the Neighbors. That's like just some weird background stuff to put on, but it's pretty interesting.
It's
Neighbors
on the list. Yeah.
On HBO. Well, you don't have to. It's interesting. Some of these characters on there for sure.
Is it like Jerry Springer, like the home version? Like what is that kind of what it? That's what it sounded like to me when somebody described it.
Definitely. Yeah, TastefulTides says Mad Men is a top 5 show. You're not the only one that says that. It wasn't in my wheelhouse, man. I just couldn't do it. Just couldn't finish it. Sorry.
Cillian Murphy is from Batman. He played what did he play in Batman?
Scarecrow.
There you go. Yeah. Okay, I couldn't quite get there. Yeah. There you go. And he stars in Peaky Blinders. Happy St. Patty's Day, by the way, to everybody out there. And I was trying to think of the Irish players. Are there any Irish that they're still Shaquille O'Neal, no longer Jermaine O'Neal? Well, who are the Irish players in the NBA that we could play?
Dante DiVincenzo.
I think he's. I feel like he's Italian. Isn't he called like the Meatball or something like? Is there some sort of nickname? Something to do with Meatball, DiVincenzo? I think he's got a meatball-related nickname, if I'm not mistaken. But
Matt Bonner, maybe.
Royce O'Neal. Yeah, okay, there you go. Matt Bonner. I don't think he's still playing, but it's good. That's a good name, I suppose. It's got to be Kevin McHale. He's no longer in the league, right? I'm pretty sure he's retired. Okay. Last game on the slate. We had some fun because it was a 6-gamer and we had plenty of time to be in the third. Yeah, there's no Celtics. You can just play the Celtics. Hurricane Peter McNeely. Is that what they call him? He was the guy that fought Tyson, right? I think that was Tyson's first fight after getting out of prison, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember him being called Hurricane. Yeah. Irish Terry Conklin. Wasn't that the guy's name from?
So good. That's a good movie right there.
Yeah, the Samuel L. Jackson movie and Damon Wayans.
Great White Hype.
Yeah, there you go. I couldn't quite get there in my head. TJ McConnell. McConnell's got to be Irish, right?
Got to be.
They got to let him play tonight. Yeah. Okay. Son, we can give it a Google. Let me know in chat who the Irish players are. Shaka used to joke about being Irish. I'm fairly certain. I didn't check out his 23andMe, but he's probably not. Probably not. Suns, T-Wolves. 221.5 is the total. This is actually a real basketball game that actually has repercussions. It matters. These are two teams. Imagine this, Job, are trying to win. They're both trying to win a basketball game tonight. They are 6-7 in the Western Conference. Minnesota's got a game and a half on Phoenix. Very important deal is that Ant, he is out. No Edwards tonight for Minnesota. We're expecting Dante DiVincenzo, Ayodesumu jumping in the starting lineup. McDaniels, Randall, Gobert. Nas officially on the injury report as available with his shoulder. Phoenix says Haywood Highsmith in the back half of back-to-back questionable. Mark Williams is still out. Nothing new there. Grayson Allen officially doubtful. Midday downgrade. Doubtful with his he's been managing that knee soreness, and Dylan Brooks still not playing. How you feeling about the Suns and Minnesota? It's an interesting slate where it seems like 2 or 3 guys just kind of going to get plugged in by a lot of people. Dosunmu is going to be one of them. Kalel Ware is going to be one of them. Calderon's going to be Calderon. I always call him Calderon. Alvarado. Alvarado's going to be one of them. But do you think Dosunmu is good chalk? Is he going to land in your one lineup?
That's a tough one, man. That's a big number, almost 50%. That's a big number. Single entry, smaller fields, he'll be even. He will creep up over that 50% mark. It's a tough one because part of me thinks it's too much, and then the other part of me thinks, man, like no Anthony Edwards. We've seen him before when he was with Chicago and he got a little bit of run. Like he can be a very good fantasy player. So I don't know. I don't know yet, but I know I'll have Julius Randle in there for sure. And then we'll see about another piece for Minnesota. But I think all these pieces. So historically, when Anthony Edwards sits this year, doesn't play, and I'm not talking about just off the court. I mean, Anthony Edwards is hurt. He doesn't suit up. It's a different dynamic. DiVincenzo has been a big time, has been boosted big time. But that was prior to the Ayo DeSumo trade. So I'm a little worried. I don't know how that's going to play out, right? Like those numbers might be a little bit, you got to take them with a grain of salt. He might not get all that run with a true point guard like DeSumo here. So, but Naz Reid is okay, a little banged up. Gobert. If Naz Reid's a little bit too banged up, even if he's going to play, maybe Gobert, crushes this matchup here. But all these guys are good. I like them all. But Julius Randle's a lock and load for me. DeSumo's second on the list, but I don't know if I'm going to play him. And then these guys are all good. Phoenix on the second game of a back-to-back. It's a tougher matchup, but that's kind of why I stray away from Devin Booker a little bit. I think Booker's fine, maybe. But Jalen Green, I think this is a good matchup for Jalen Green. Young legs, second half of that back-to-back doesn't bother him as much. He's been putting up monster numbers. He's under 7K. I like some Jalen Green. And speaking of green and Irish, Dean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, there you go. That's an angle.
Let me hear your favorite Irish band music. Some good choices out there.
What is like U2? Is that like the chalk?
That's the chalk.
Let me see. I have to give it a Google and kind of refresh my memory.
I'll give you mine, Dean. I give you mine. My favorite, like the guys who were on my radio every time we went out. At that time, around that age, House of Pain.
Now, they're not actually from Ireland, though. House of Pain, they're from, like, Boston, aren't they? Or
they got the shamrocks and shenanigans, the tattoos. No.
They play the Irish.
The Celtic, yeah, that's an Irish band right there.
Like the Cranberries were Irish. That's a legit Irish band. The Dolores.
That's fine. So was House of Pain.
I'm not a big U2 guy. I think they're fine, but I think they're probably got a little too much attention. They're not. I never go out of my way to listen to U2. Never. They're okay. They're decent enough where I don't
let me ask you this then.
Yeah.
Zombie or Linger?
Oh, Zombie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You want Linger?
Linger's good, man.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a Cranberry songs for the people that are not aware. There's got to be some people in chat, I imagine. Well, producer Steve says Linger. There you go. Yeah, Zombie's more powerful, more meaningful. Good backstone. It's very Snow Patrol, by the way. That's another Irish band for you. Snow Patrol. Then Lizzie. I gave it a Google. The Coors. I heard that was like a pop band in like the 90s. Yeah, I thought it'd be a deeper. What about the? God, they're not from Ireland, but like the song from The Departed, "Kicking Up the Ball." They're not Irish. People think of them. They might be Irish heritage. They're not from Ireland. Why can't I think of the name of this band? Dropkick Murphys. Thank you. Yeah. So
Sinead O'Connor's.
She was Irish. Not a band. Solo artist.
Now, would you call her a one-hit wonder?
I mean, she certainly had one song that was written by who? Who wrote that song?
Prince.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. But that was a heck of a song, though.
Yeah, it was spectacular. And the video, back when there's videos, she like cried on cue, which was pretty impressive, I guess. But I guess she was a one-hit wonder. I guess so. Worldwide, or at least in America. I would imagine she was still popular in Ireland for many years, but I don't know that. But yeah, I guess I think we hit most of the big ones. Is chat throwing some Irish bands our way that we kind of missed?
They are. Lots of stuff.
I'm not sure. They're very upset about my call on Zombie is better than Linger's good. I'm not going to besmirch, but I would take Zombie over Linger. By the way, some news coming on through. We got Benedict Mathurin. It says out at least 3 games, injury recovery. So how do you go from questionable to out 3 games? Okay, And that's the only update we have in the Pacers. That's it. That's all you're giving us.
Benedict Mathurin is placed for the Clippers.
Oh my God, that's solid. Egg on my face.
And like,
what a dope I am.
Like they
oh boy.
So yeah, I think you're wrong there, dude.
Did that not blow up? Why did that just faded away? There it is.
Oh, delayed.
Oh boy. Give me the big old L today for sure. I should be playing for the Washington Lizards. Yeah, I just, I saw a player that I'm just thinking about the Pacers, but yeah, bad job by me. So no update on the Pacers, just nothing. Thanks for nothing, Pacers. That's, yeah, I'm saying, I guess at some point they'll chime in, and they're playing basketball tonight, right? Is this game possibly going to get canceled because they don't have 8 healthy bodies? There are more than 8 that are healthy. I promise you that. We did kick out Giannis, by the way. Giannis is kicked out of projections. I'm curious how that's going to change things. I know Crunch Time is hanging out on layaway as well. We got TastefulTides as well as Will. Will's coming in to join the show. Chop, I think it is time. It's time for, we teased it a couple times. The people want to know. Plums. Who are you feeling? Who are you feeling the plums?
Boy, so many choices today. Long list to start. Narrowed it down, Dean. Factoring all things in. Player, projection, matchup, salary, ownership, gut feeling, instinct, everything, Dean. Plums play of the day. Brandon Miller. Going Brandon Miller.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah, going Brandon Miller now. That's your Plums play of the day. I got another one on Thursday when we do that show. Then maybe another one the week after that. And then, Dean, we'll have BVP suggest. It'll be time. It'll be time to fire up the old BVP Ooh. And choppers knockers right around the block.
Oh man,
can't wait.
Yeah, it's I think all of us. I don't want to speak for everybody. I hear you. I think all of us are looking forward to baseball season, more so than most, than typically. Just the way this NBA season has been. Lippy is asking if Connor Oberst is Irish. He's not, but I was a big Connor Oberst guy back in the day. Shout out to Bright Eyes. Okay. Yeah, the people are excited about choppers, knockers. They're going to be coming in soon. The BVP suggestion, all the gimmicks. We're going to have the tiers. People love the tiers. We're bringing the tiers back. We're going to do our stacking tiers. Position by position. We'll have it all covered for you. 10 days away. I was looking at the schedule. Maybe it's Thursday. I think it's a Thursday afternoon, I want to say, when the baseball season, like as far as slate start. Tim's Taters. Yeah, Tim's Taters. He's got his Taters coming as well. Well, speaking of Tim, let's do it. Let's see what's the segue. Crunch Time's coming on right now. You got Will, you got Tim, and his Taters. Crunch Time. Here they are. Will, Tim, you said in the chat, apparently, give us the pitch. Give us the elevator pitch. Why should myself and Chop and Will, I don't know if Will's in here or not, why should we see Mad Men? Why is Mad Men a top 5 show of all time?
I just think the acting is fantastic in that show. I think it's some of the best acting of any show. It's very much, but I can see why Chop doesn't like it though. It's very much an East Coast show. Ooh. I mean, if you're into Central Time, that is not the show for you. I can tell you that much right now. So it was not a very shocking thing for me to hear Chop say he wasn't a huge fan. Dean, though, I'm surprised.
Dean, for such a connoisseur of the fine arts, he has missed out on a lot of good programming. But Tim, I'll tell you what really turned me off about Mad Men. This is just one of those things. Everything is subjective to the individual. I just the whole setting, 1950s vibe, that doesn't do that thing for me. Like suit in the office, 1950s. I've never been that kind of I want something else. I like westerns. I can go back into the 1800s. That's good. I can do.
So you're a Tombstone guy, which is also not very shocking. That's not shocking. This is not shocking at all. So,
that's not a Tombstone. Tombstone's a movie, though.
Yeah. What was the Dean? What was the Western TV show? It was
the one on HBO.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank. That was a great show.
I know a lot of people like
Al Swearingen.
Yellowstone.
No.
No, I know what you're talking about. I've seen it.
Deadwood.
Deadwood.
That's a
Yeah.
good show.
Chop's definitely a Deadwood guy.
Yeah. So, but I can, there are some eras I can watch a show and okay, I like this. This draws me in. 50s button up office didn't do it for me, but teach their own, man.
I should, by the way, tell the people about Television Tuesday before we officially hand it off. We did get a winner. We revealed the winner. The winner was Peaky Blinders. First clue was Fix. People are always saying these games are Fix. I thought Fix would be a fun thing to lead into. They, on the show, I haven't seen it, but my understanding is in the show they have a lot of horse racing and they fix horse racing on the show. So clue number 2 is Blinker. And speaking of those horse races, you ever see the eyewear that the horses have? So they don't look left, they don't look right, so it looks straight. They're called blinkers. Blinkers.
I thought they were called blinders.
Oh, you know what? They're called both. They're called blinders.
Oh boy.
They're synonyms. They're synonyms. You give it a Google. I was wrong about Benedict Mathurin, but give it a Google. They're called blinders or blinkers. I promise.
This sounds so rigged.
Give it a Google.
This seems very rigged to me.
The fourth clue was period piece. We didn't even get to it. The fifth clue was cap because
Peaky Blinkers.
It's not as catchy. That would have been canceled after one season. Cap is what they wear. The characters wear the newsboy caps. There you go. Thank you for redeeming me, Steve. Like you're putting
Peaky Winkers.
Yeah, also called Winkers.
Hey, Chop, that's my segment for baseball. Peaky Winkers.
You're going Peaky Winker.
Are those players you want on roster?
No, I'm kidding, man.
Those are the players that makes us Peaky Wink.
I'm trying not to go back. I'm trying not to go throw back with Diva behind Costco, but I couldn't.
Oh, come on,
sorry,
man.
Pete, I'm gonna
You didn't have to bring up Costco.
It's been a tough day for me, apparently. I've taken a lot of L's.
Oh my God.
Chop, anything else for your step?
I'm so sorry. Just that took me back, Chop. That took me back.
You're good, man. I think we're done, right, Chop? Yeah. Like button, subscribe, turn on the notification.
Man, we're done like a big T steak on the grill.
Big T likes a well done steak. You got to be kidding me.
He likes a hockey puck.
Oh my God! I want to like the guy, but come on. That's what we do.
Returning TVs and firing up the hockey pucks.
Tim, that's
you got any knockers tonight for the baseball game, Chop?
I think it's Bregman. But I wanted to say Byron Buxton, but I think he only gets 1 or 2 at bats. But I think I'll go Bregman then.
Not Acuna?
I can't. But Dean, I'm a USA. I'm not promoting no Venezuelan team, bro.
Acuna's a fun player. He's good at baseball. I don't care who. If you can make me money. All right. That's it. That's the show. We're not going anywhere because Crunch Time's on the air for the next 20 minutes. Nope, that's bad math. 41 minutes. You got Will. You got Tim. I believe Will is hosting. So, Will, it is all yours. Take it away.
Let's go. We bring it back an oldie but goodie. Let's go. Don't worry, Steve. I didn't get us in trouble. That was only 5 seconds of Joe Budden. Pump it up. Getting ready for baseball. So glad to hang out with my good friend Tim Buell. Tim, we're getting these Tim's taters pumped up. Coming to a theater near you real soon. How are you feeling about baseball? And then also, how are you feeling about the NBA slate tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think at this time of the year, we're all kind of ready for baseball season to start. It's like, baseball's one of my favorite DFS sports. I prefer it over basketball. But I mean, there's still plenty of NBA action, and there's a lot of meaningful news that is left that we have yet to get for this slate. So, I mean, this is going to be a really important crunch time. We're going to try to break it down the best that we can. We're still waiting on, we got the Giannis news, but we're still waiting on Milwaukee. We're still waiting on Ryan Rollins, Miles Turner, and Yusmani Dang as well. So, I mean, there's Indy as well. I think last count, India has 8 questionable players. So there's going to be a lot of pivoting, I think, depending on what happens there. So it's definitely going to be, it's going to be kind of tricky. We're going to have to do the best that we can. We're gonna go position by position, but we're gonna have to kind of get interrupted here on the show quite a bit today because there's gonna be a lot of going back and forth about what to do depending on how the news hits. So we're gonna do it to break it down the best we can.
Okay, sounds good. Well, look, man, I did an internet swap in the middle of you talking, so I did hear everything you said, but I just wanted everybody to know that. So, producer Steve, I did an internet the rest of the way. I think it's an interesting. So you were talking about Milwaukee and some of the news that's going to come up. Right out of the gate, though, on one of the earlier games, Tim, and this is going to be at 7:30, and I'm going to start at 7 o'clock, but I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. New York, no Jalen Brunson. We're pretty much headed to point guard position, Tim. Feels like Jose Alvarado is going to garner tons of ownership tonight, and probably for good reason. Not only is Brunson not playing, but a matchup with Indiana, which should lead him towards some fantasy goodness, shall I say. What are your thoughts on Alvarado tonight on cash and tournaments? I know obviously cash, you essentially, we're going to say have to play him. In tournaments, I think it's really close. Ironically, the minutes projection isn't as high as I thought it would be, but when he's on the floor, it's just still incredible for his price. So let's start with point guard Jose Alvarado, and then we'll fan out from there.
Yeah, you're 100% locking in Jose Alvarado in cash games today. He's already been announced the starter. We've already gotten Brunson out. So, I mean, that's, it depends on kind of what you want to do in large field. I think the last ownership update was around 55% projected ownership. I'm definitely going to be going 3 out of 3 of him in 3 max. He's 100% going to be in my single entry, primary single entry team. He's definitely, I think, really, really solid chalk. I think if you're building out like a bigger portfolio of teams, if you're going, say, 20 max, I think I would just lock him in. If you're going 150, maybe I'd go like 75, 80%, depending on your own risk tolerance. Some people don't want to lock anybody in. Some people want to play more aggressively and lock them in. But if you're playing 3 max stuff, I would lock in Jose Alvarado. He's way too cheap. I kind of thought his minutes projection would be a little bit higher also, but even if it is really just in that 23 to 25 minute range, I think he's still a really solid play. So I wouldn't really worry too much about that. I would still lock him in. I think he's still a really great play. And then I think we got to talk about some of these pay up point guards, whether that be SGA or Cade Cunningham. It's going to be they're certainly not bad plays, either one of them. I don't know if this is quite necessarily the slate for them. I am worried about with Cade Cunningham that they are 20-point favorites against Washington. Now, Cade could put up 70 here, but I find it very unlikely, and I'm really worried about paying that huge of a salary in a game that I don't even know if he'll play the fourth quarter. So I'm a little bit. Cade is not reaching my 3 max pool. You can certainly get exposure to him in GPPs, but he's really not. I'm really not that high on Cade. SGA is, I think, a little bit better of a play than Cade, but again, he's 11,000. I don't think this is quite the slate or the matchup that I necessarily want to play SGA. So again, same kind of thing as Cade. It's fine if you want to get exposure to him in large field stuff, but he's not going to reach my single entry or 3 max pool. The point guards that I'm getting to a lot are kind of in this like higher to mid 8s. LaMelo Ball and Devin Booker. I like a ton here. I love this matchup against Miami. LaMelo Ball, he is not super consistent with his minutes, but I'm hoping that, he can get to, 31 or 32. And I think he can exceed, I don't know, around 45 fantasy points. So I do like LaMelo Ball. Devin Booker, this Suns Minnesota game, we're going to be talking about a ton. I do like Booker quite a bit here. So, I think those are both really, really strong plays in that mid eight range. With no Giannis, I think that Kevin Porter is okay. We did just get some news here. I think Miles Turner is out. Dang is in. I haven't seen anything about Ryan Rollins yet, though. So that's kind of important, especially talking about Kevin Porter. So still waiting on Rollins, but that's, I still think Kevin Porter is fine in GPPs, and he's at 7-8. But if we were to lose Rollins, he would be even a better play. Other kind of like value point guards, I would say Dante DiVincenzo at 5'7". Again, no Anthony Edwards from Minnesota, so we're going to be getting to some Minnesota pieces here. DiVincenzo at 5'7", I think, is a really solid play. I'm really it's tough to know what to do with Washington. They're down some bodies. So guys like Bob Carrington, I think, are okay. I don't love them, though. Same thing with like Trey Johnson. Again, like they project decently. I just hate the matchup, and I don't want to build into them a ton, especially like it looks like Bob Carrington is going to get some ownership, which I don't love. If you want to go low, like, and get kind of contrarian, I think it's Bones Highland at 3,600. I think that's like a really interesting large field GPP play. If you think that Washington, like if you feel secure about those minutes, you certainly can play some Washington pieces, but they're just not for me today.
I like the Bob Carrington call. I'm typically always on Bub when these guys are missing bodies, Tim. So I like that one quite a bit. And Bones Highland, really sneaky tournament play. I agree with that all the way. I am in the camp of locking in Jose Alvarado. A lot of it is because of the price. Like, even if he ends, Tim, at 24 fantasy points, that's enough, right? Like, if he gets near 30, you're cooking with gas. So I like him quite a bit. And then on the backside of that, I like LaMelo. I wish his minutes. Tim, could they just give us 32 minutes every night? Like, don't teeter-totter at 28. Just give us 32. And boy, I'd be all aboard. But once again, that's why he's a great tournament play. Definitely think we need to be listening to Tim on that one. Tim, I'm going to head on over to shooting guard. I know some of these on DraftKings will be the same. But who's your favorite at shooting guard for cash? Favorite at tournaments, and then let's roll it from there.
Yeah, so we did just get a little update on Ryan Rollins. Looks like he's going to try to play. So I don't know what that really means, but doesn't necessarily mean that we have to jam in Porter now. I think that might just sound like a stay away.
It's also not getting you excited about Rollins. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, I wasn't really going to play Rollins anyway, but now I think that might sound like a stay away. But I mean, if you wanted to get exposure to Porter in large field stuff, I wouldn't hate it, but I'm not going to be playing Rollins. But we'll see what the projections team says. I'm sure we'll get another update here really soon to reflect some of that Milwaukee news. We are starting to get Indiana news in right now. Nembhard is out. Zubac is in. Neesmith is in. So we'll definitely have another projections update pretty soon here, but we can circle back on that. Toppin is in. Yeah. So shooting guard, we'll just start off. Ayo DeSumo. We talked about Anthony Edwards being out. That's obviously going to open up a ton of usage to go around. DeSumo is really, really cheap. He's shooting guard, small forward eligible, so he gives you that roster flexibility that we absolutely love. He should play minutes north of 30 here, so he's a really strong value. He's definitely a cash game play. Really, really solid play in all formats. He's going to be super chalky. Last update was around 55%, so he's going to be very, very popular. But I think he's a strong play. Probably the next guy might be Jalen Green. We like that game. Jalen Green has been just absolutely elite. He's a guy that I hear.
I've been on Jalen Green for days.
You talk about him all the time. Every time I'm on a show with you or listen to you on a show, you're always talking about Jalen Green. So yeah, I mean, this is a really, really good spot for him. He's only 6,900. He's shooting guard, small forward eligible, so he also gives you that really good roster flexibility. So he's a really, really standout play. Absolutely love him today. Josh Hart at 6,300. We're going to be getting to some Knicks here. Again, they're 15-point favorites. There is blowout concern here. It's a little bit concerning, but that seems just a little bit too cheap. I think Josh Hart has a really solid floor here. We know that he's got a decent ceiling because he's a pretty good stocks guy. So, Josh Hart is definitely okay. I'm going to be curious to see what the next update is going to do to reflect Dang at 4,500 to see if he's going to, maybe creep up a little bit. We have projected for 29 minutes and 23 fantasy points, which at 4,500 is really strong. So I definitely don't mind him, and I would imagine his projection might even get a little bit higher. We've already talked about Devin Booker. I guess we could throw Desmond Bane in the pool, but it's a really, really bad matchup. I think he's large field only. Getting to some Norman Powell, I think, again, 6,600. I think he's okay. I don't necessarily love it, but I think he's all right with for large field GPPs. Aaron Neesmith, I believe I said that Nembhard is out. I'd like to see what Neesmith's
Nembhard is out, by the way. He's out.
Yeah, so I'd like to see what Neesmith's projection is going to be in the next update. So that's, again, another guy that maybe we can circle back on. This whole Indiana situation, we can circle back. Colin Knippel at 7,200. It's a decent spot. He's going to play big minutes. I kind of like Miller a little bit more. I know that was Chops Plum's play. But I mean, if you get exposure to Colin Knippel, I certainly don't mind it. He's going to be a decent pivot off of guys like Jalen Green, who are going to be much chalkier. I prefer Jalen Green straight up in a vacuum, but if you want to get away from some ownership, Colin Knippel is certainly a viable GPP play.
Yeah, don't hate Knippel at all. Shout out to my Charlotte Hornets for not being awful this year. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me, Tim, like it did with the Panthers. I agree with you on this Josh Hart thing, though, right? Like, yes, it's a matchup with Indiana. Yes, Indiana's down. Yes, the Knicks don't have Brunson. Yes, the Knicks should still win this game, probably mostly handedly, Tim. But man, 6,300 for Josh Hart in this matchup just screams baby triple-double, Tim. Like, doesn't it feel like one of those 12-point, 9 rebound, 8 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks games from him? Like, not quite a triple-double, but like right on the edge. I like Josh Hart quite a bit today. Take that.
Yeah, I think the only issue really is that 15-point spread. That's the only thing that kind of concerns me. But I agree with you. Like, I mean, I have Hart right now in my single entry team. It's like I'm just hoping that game can stay somewhat competitive and he can get his full allotment of minutes. That's really the only concern that I have.
Yeah, I totally get it, and I agree. Speaking of that, Tim, great pick on Josh Hart. Picks Labs. It's the newest RotoGrinders feature, and it's going to let you scan the best prop and pick 'em bets in seconds. Everything is broken down for you, from edges and win rates to value. It's a clean board showing which plays actually stand out across sportsbook and sites like Underdog and Prize Picks. And when you see something you like, Picks Labs builds the slip for you and sends it straight to your book of choice. You can find Pick Labs at rotogrinders.com/Pick Labs. You'll be wondering how this wasn't a thing already. Go out there and make some picks. All right, Tim, we're going to put our foot on the gas here, but before we do, we got to talk about NASCAR. And those projections are live for 2026 for the 2026 season, including projections from RotoDoc and Stevie TPFL. You'll get access to articles and videos on RotoGrinders breaking down each race. As an additional plug, Stevie typically cranks out one millionaire winner or two per season. Will the next one be you? The lineup HQ Optimizer will come preloaded with player and ownership projections from trucks and the Cup Series. Additionally, you'll receive access to Stevie's betting picks, as well as exclusive access to the NASCAR channel in the RotoGrinders Discord. Tim, I said we're going to put our foot on the pedal, and we are moving on to small forward, where I think this is one of the more interesting positions on the slate, Tim. And the reason why I'm saying that is this. I feel like you've got a lot of guys that you could play at shooting guard, but you can also play them at small forward. How many of these guys that are small forward only or small forward, power forward make the cut at the small forward position tonight? Because there's so many shooting guards that seemingly we kind of want to plug in here. What are your thoughts at small forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think we got to talk about Will Riley. He's a guy who's small forward, power forward eligible. He's part of that Washington team that I do have concerns about, but I think Will Riley's minutes are at least fairly safe in kind of no matter what, whether this game blows out or somehow stays competitive. I don't think it's going to stay competitive, but I think either way, his minutes are pretty decent. 5,100, small forward, power forward. I think he has to enter the conversation. Jameer Watkins is another one of these guys that I should have mentioned him at shooting guard, but he's shooting guard, small forward. He's part of the Washington squad. Jaden McDaniels, he's small forward only. Minnesota is going to be relatively popular, and we currently have McDaniels at 21% projected ownership. But that's going to be still a little bit of leverage off of the chalkier pieces of Minnesota. So I think he is definitely somebody that we can consider. Like I said, Chop was high on Brandon Miller. I agree. I don't have Miller currently on DK, but I do on FanDuel. But I think on either site, you can definitely get exposure to him. I think he's a really solid play. I don't know. I mean, I suppose we could possibly play a little Kyle Kuzma here. Tristan Da Silva. I think Da Silva was going to be a little bit popular at earlier in the day. 5,100, I think he's okay, even though the matchup's not great.
Yeah, I think Kuzma may pick up a little bit of steam, possibly, with the Giannis situation. Agree with you on Will Riley, though, for sure. Here's my big question here, Tim. In terms of the soon move, and obviously if you're mass multi-entering, you can either force him to just shooting guard or small forward or let it pick. If you're playing the soon move tonight, are you splitting the difference or are you just playing him at shooting guard and trying to get other guys in?
I think you can kind of evenly split that, if I'm being completely honest with you. I don't think there's like a huge difference. I would just pay attention to your total ownership with him, like what you exactly want to do with him, because he is an extremely important player for your overall portfolio teams today, because he does rate out amazing and ownership should follow.
Yep, I agree 100%. We're moving to power forward, Tim, where we're pretty much going to hit another guy for the from Minnesota, and Julius Randle, who, if you're in, lineup HQ, building lineups, he's got everybody's attention. Tim, every expert here has a dot or a tag, if you will, on Julius Randle. What are your thoughts on Randle? From a DFS perspective, obviously it's going to garner some ownership. Not the most expensive, but definitely a reasonable spin with Anthony Edwards out of the fold tonight.
Yeah, $7,700 price tag is way too cheap. I think he's going to be extremely highly owned. If you're playing single entry, I would imagine he's going to be pushing probably between 65 and 75% ownership. He's tough to get away from. This seems like a pretty bad price, in my opinion. I think you're just going to be eating that chalk. I see no reason. This is a close spread. I see no reason to fade him here, unless you're just really just trying to get different. But I think this is, in basketball, sometimes you just have to eat chalk, and I think Randle is one of those pieces today. It's going to be interesting to see what the field does with Bobby Portis now. I think he's a really strong play at 5,700. I think I'd personally rather play Bobby Portis than Will Riley. They're projected pretty similarly. I would rather spend the extra 600 and get to Portis over Riley, but I get it either way. They're both decent plays. I did bet a prop tonight in honor of doing a show with Will, who is the prop chief. I did bet Evan Mobley 10 plus rebounds. That was like plus 110 on DK. So I do kind of like Evan Mobley today. But I think I'm only getting exposure to him through a prop. I'm not actually playing him in my single entry team, just because power forward is pretty strong, and so is center, and I don't see a spot for him that I can play. But at 13% projected ownership, I would be getting some shares if I was building out like in a 20 max setting or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Totally get that call. Tim, we're going to go ahead and hop to center, and then we'll hop over to FanDuel. And on FanDuel, we'll just kind of talk about maybe some guys that you would play specific to that site, because a lot of the guys we still want to play on both. So if there's anybody specific, we'll cover that. But at center, Tim, obviously you got Karl Anthony Towns up top, who's center only on DraftKings. Might be a little different story on FanDuel. On DraftKings, center only. 9K, no Jalen Brunson, matchup with Indy. And then I think the next big one here is obviously going to be Khalil. No Bam.
Yeah, I mean, there's
those two, and then we'll roll from there.
Yeah, so Khalil Ware, I think, has such a clear path to a really big game with no Bam. Charlotte's not quite as horrible as they used to be, but this is still a pretty decent matchup. So this just seems like far too cheap of a price tag. Ware is definitely the cash game guy. So that's real easy. But there are pivots that you can make in GBPs. You talked about Karl Anthony Towns. Jalen Duren to me is the one that I kind of like over Towns. I'd rather save the 700 and go Jalen Duren. Just because that matchup against Washington is so good. Like, he could put up 50 fantasy points in like 25 minutes. If he can somehow push to like 30 minutes here, he's going to absolutely crush. Now, I know that, it's the same thing with Cade. Like, this game is going to be, likely, not close in the fourth quarter, like at all. But I think I'd rather go Duren over Towns if I'm being completely honest. And then Rudy Gobert at 6,600. Again, Wade, he's a way of building into this chalky Minnesota team. He's around 16% projected ownership, 6,600. I think he's super interesting today. But center, I would stay super condensed. It's like Ware, Duren, Gobert, and then maybe Anthony Gill if you wanted to take like some cheap shots at center. But I don't absolutely love that.
Yeah, I totally get it, Tim. I will say this. I probably like Karl Anthony Towns a little bit too much today, but I'll just keep it at that. As an aside, Tim, I feel like Naz Reid could possibly be on his way to a big game. Any additional thoughts on Naz Reid as a part of this Minnesota situation? A guy that already has stable minutes anyway, but just could have some extra opportunity, with Ant just kind of not on the floor with him at all tonight.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I think that's a good call. Large field only for me. I don't think.
Yeah. Not cash.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and I don't think he'd reach my single entry or 3 max pool either. But yeah, I absolutely do not mind that take at all. I think that's a really strong take.
Okay, Tim, we're going to move to FanDuel. Let's talk about the guys over there. We'll start at point guard again. We'll try to get through this thing quickly, and then we'll get to questions. Hopefully, though, my goal of this show, Tim, whenever I'm hosting, is for us to hopefully answer the questions as we go and do a good enough job of analysis that people don't have to make too many tough decisions. So we're at point guard. Obviously, some of these guys will be the same. Including Alvarado, who's 3,800 on FanDuel, which is still a fantastic price. What are your thoughts on Alvarado, point guard position? And then we'll move to shooting guard.
Yeah, it's still going to be Alvarado, 3,800. One big difference between FanDuel and DK is Dosunmu is point guard, shooting guard eligible, so you do have that option to play him at point guard. But it's still, still a fantastic play. DiVincenzo is 5,500, so he's a slightly better play on FanDuel than he is on DK, but strong on both sites. Jalen Green, he's point guard eligible on FanDuel, so it's a little bit different again, but the players are very similar. It's not like a whole lot different. It's just a slightly different pricing. Like LaMelo Ball is a little bit better on FanDuel than he is on DK, but again, you have to trust those minutes, right? If he's going to get pushed a little bit over 30, he should absolutely crush. But if he stays like somehow in that 26, 28, something like that, maybe he's not going to quite win you a GPP. So it's kind of a tough call there. But it's very similar at the point guard position. I'll just go right over to shooting guard.
Yeah, absolutely.
So same guys, Dosunmu, Jalen Green. We gotta add Norman Powell into the pool. Con Knipple at 6,700. He's a little bit better play on FanDuel, so definitely you can add him to the pool over there. Brandon Miller, I think, is a little bit better. See, Charlotte just in general is a little bit cheaper on FanDuel, making them a little bit better play over on the FanDuel site. Definitely got to mix in maybe some Jordan Clarkson, maybe some Trey Johnson, Jameer Watkins as cheapies. But I think that's it, really.
Yeah, I like those calls, and obviously Clarkson. I think Clarkson is definitely a flyer for me. And then, so on FanDuel, Tim, I will say this: I probably feel stronger about locking in Dosunmu on FanDuel than I did on DraftKings, if that makes any sense. That 1 point extra for the blocks and steals, I think does help. And not that he's always going to have a game with blocks and steals. This isn't somebody that's always getting them. But, in this game where he's got to play more minutes, he falls into a steal or a block, Tim, does have like those extra points help. So I like Dosunmu quite a bit on FanDuel, even though he's roughly the same price. Same thing for Brandon Miller and Khan, like you said, just Charlotte in general. All right, moving to small forward, Tim. I'm going to throw this at you, Tim, and just get your thoughts here. I think we're going to be in agreement. I'm pretty sure we're going to be in agreement, but still want to just bring it up as a specific. We've been pushing the button on Josh Hart, and boy, is this a site where he could thrive tonight because of all the ancillary box scores with the blocks and steals. Like he's a guy that can go out and get 5 stocks, if you will, in a game like this. Josh Hart, 6,200 feels like a staple for your FanDuel lineups?
Yeah, small forward's not very strong today. It seems like, especially on FanDuel. So Josh Hart's definitely a staple. He'd be a core play for me. We got to, Will Riley's got to be in the pool. McDaniels has to be in the pool. I've already talked about Brandon Miller. I've already talked about Concanipple. OG Anunoby, I think he would be some interesting leverage off of Hart. I think, 7K, pay a little bit extra more, get that Knicks exposure, get off some of that Hart ownership. But again, I think Hart's a way better play in a vacuum. Champagny at 5K, I think he's okay as well. And Dang at 4,600, I think he's definitely got to be one of your salary saving options at small forward. Then power forward, it's Khalil Ware and Julius Randle. Ware's got power forward eligibility on FanDuel. He's a fantastic play. Anthony Gill, he's super cheap over on FanDuel as well. He has power forward eligibility, so he's a really strong play. Bobby Portis at 5,700. Karl Anthony Towns has power forward eligibility. I'm not huge on him tonight, but maybe that's a bad take. I just kind of prefer some other options on both sites. And then center, it's Rudy Gobert is super cheap over on FanDuel at 6,200. I think he's a really strong play. He's going to get some ownership. And then it's really Gobert or Duren for me, if I'm being completely honest. I think on FanDuel I'm going. On FanDuel I think I'm going Gobert. But it's really close between the two. And then I don't even know how many other guys I would conceivably add to my large field pool. Just make sure that you have a ton of Ware tonight. But I mean, you can play him at center or power forward.
Yeah, for sure. I think power forward is most of the guys that I like are center power forward, Tim. And as I mentioned, as we were kind of closing out DraftKings, as we keep going through this slate, Naz Reid is picking up steam for me in my lineup. So 5,300 on FanDuel, even cheaper, a little bit cheaper. Like him quite a bit. All right, Tim, I'm going to hop in. I'm going to the live stream chat first to try to take some questions to see what we have there. Just want to make sure everything. Okay, and so this is our first one, Tim, from Flores, Mark, 1983. Tim, what are your thoughts on Washington guys with the new projections, Gill and Will Riley? I know for sure you like both of those guys, and I know you like Will Riley quite a bit. Gill, maybe not as much, but he's very cheap. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I don't know if I necessarily want to play into a ton of Will Riley chalk, Mark. So I think that's one issue that I have. I don't mind spending down on Anthony Gill, but you have to waste up a center spot. Personally, yeah. I think my favorite out of this whole group, if I had to pick one, is Bub Carrington at 4,700.
Yeah, I like Bub quite a bit too as well, Tim. All right, this is coming from Carolina Guy. Good friend Carolina Guy. Always has a FanDuel question. Thank you. Favorite GPP spend up on FanDuel, Tim, and then also favorite sneaky play.
Yeah, so Devin Booker on FanDuel isn't going to – he's going to be somewhat popular, but he's not going to be super, super chalky. And then another piece, a sneaky and then if you have to spend up on like one guy, man, that's tough. You got to go Randall. He's not really a spend up though. Yeah, I would just go Randall and then Randall and Booker. And I don't think that Booker piece is going to be as chalky on FanDuel.
Yeah, I like it. This is coming from GolfNut 04240. Another question for you, Tim. Single entry at DK single entry at center. Excuse me. Where or Duren? And he's saying this is going to determine how he feels the bottom three DK slots. So Where or Duren, DK single entry center.
I guess it's Where.
Okay. All right. This is from Peterman79. DK single entry. Last piece for the util. Josh Hart or Rudy Gobert?
I would go Hart on DK.
Okay. This is a 3-week retail from Mr. Nap21. I actually like this one. Portis, Miller, Green, or Booker, Hart, McDaniels. That's a really good 3v3.
That's a really good 3v3. Man, that's tough. My instinct is saying go the Portis side.
Okay. Sounds good. This comes from D-Rock 1838, DKGPP. Clarkson and Green, Carrington, Portis, or Carrington, DiVincenzo. So basically, I guess he's going really cheap, mid-range, or 2 in the mid-range.
Go Carrington, Portis.
Okay. This is coming from Jim Parrish 22. AJ Mitchell or Alvarado for DKGPPs, and then Kobe White? Question mark.
I would just go Alvarado. And then I don't have any interest in Kobe White.
Okay, sounds good. We're hopping over to YouTube. Excuse me, got one more question in the live stream chat. DKGPP, Jane Towns or Duran DiVincenzo? I'm almost positive you're going Duran DiVincenzo.
I am going to go Duran DiVincenzo. I'm just not that high on Towns tonight. Maybe I'll be way off, but I mean, if he goes off, I'm losing tonight.
Yep. Sounds like it. I think we do like Knipple. Yeah, we definitely like Knipple. So Tim, what I'm doing is I'm going through the questions right now. And so when I get to one, all right, let's see. Going through. I'm trying to get to all the real questions, Tim.
We did get one more in the live stream chat. DKGPP, okay. Gobert or Powell. I think I'd go Gobert there. I think Gobert is the better play, but they're both good.
Okay. All right, here we go. I'm in the YouTube chat now. This is a good one here. Can you play Clarkson and Alvarado, Tim, together?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. This is coming from Keith Roberts Drums, SGA and Alvarado, or Ball and DiVincenzo?
Man, I think you really should have Alvarado on your team tonight, but in that 2v2, I guess it's the second one.
Okay. Got it. Thoughts on Jaime Jaquez, Tim?
I don't love it.
Okay, thoughts on Hartenstein and Carter Jr.?
Not really anybody, not either. I wasn't really on either one of those guys.
Okay, this is coming from CW893 with Rollins in. Should I still go with KPJ?
I don't mind him in large field stuff. Maybe not quite. If you're only playing one team tonight, that might be too risky, but I don't mind him in large field. Did get another one in.
All right, 1 minute left. We're going to put the foot on the pedal. Lightning round. White. Go ahead, Tim.
Oh, yeah. So do you guys like Julian Reese at all as a flyer in case of a blowout? No, I don't really. And then Booker and Hart or Knipple and KPJ. I think that's Booker and Hart. Is 3 T-Wolves too many on DKGPP? I do not think so. I think 3 is just fine. I would not go more than that, but 3 is fine.
All right, and then this was a big one here, Tim. Even though I know we're in lightning round, it was a 3v3 and I lost it. So let's see. Hold on, Tim. Trying to find it. Yeah, White, Portis, Duran, or Ware, Alvarado, OG. Oh, White, Portis, Duran, Ware, or Alvarado, OG, Towns, Ware for single entry. And that'll close out questions.
I think it's the second one.
Okay. And folks, we have hit lock, at least for the games that are hitting 7 o'clock. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. I super enjoy doing these shows, especially with Tim. Enjoy coming on, talking to you guys. And baseball is coming up. So it's going to get really exciting here over the next few weeks as we push forward through basketball, but bring on America's game. So for myself, Will, Tim, Chief, Tasteful Tides, you've been in the middle of crunch time. You stay classy, San Diego. See you next time.